So here are some definitions first. You need to know what supplementary angles are. And all they are is angles whose total measures equal 180 when you add them together. For example, if you're given two angles and you measure of angle 1 and they tell you the measure of angle 2 and they add up to 180, it means that they are supplementary angles. Congruent angles is the next definition. They have the same measure or the same number of degrees or radians. It depends on how you are measuring your angles, and it depends on how your teacher is telling you to do it. Most times we just use degrees, but sometimes some teachers will teach you how to measure it in radians. But the point is, if they have the same exact measure, then they are congruent. So again, if you have two angles and you have the measurement of angle 1 equals the measurement of angle 2, then that means that angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. And then vice versa. If you are told or given as a fact in a problem information that says angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, then you automatically should know that that means the measure of angle 1 equals the measure of angle 2. And here's a little note. If you see this symbol anywhere in your geometry or math classes, especially with angles, it means congruent. They are congruent, or they are equal, or they have the same measure. Okay, hopefully that's clear. So supplementary angles, two angles whose total equal 180. Congruent angles, angles that have the same exact measure. So that means that the measurement of angle 1 should equal the measurement of angle 2, and that would make them congruent as shown by this symbol. And if you're also told in a problem that angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, then you know that the measurement of angle 1 is equal to the measurement of angle 2. And again, the symbol for something being congruent is this equal sign with a tilde or wavy line over it. All right, let's keep going. There are two geometric properties I want to share with you today, and both of these will help you solve any geometry proofs that you have to do for class. The first one is the transitive property. You may have already learned this in your other math classes, I'm not sure, but I want to make sure I cover it here and show you how it works with angles. So if A equals B and B equals C, then A must be equal to C, and it makes sense since A and B are equal and B and C are equal, then A and C are equal. And so if they are equal, then when you have an angle, when you're working with angles, and say you're given angle 1 and you have angle 2, and you're told that they are congruent, meaning they have the same measure, you should see this sign, meaning they're congruent. If you're told that angle 1 is congruent to angle 2 and angle 3 is congruent to angle 2, then angle 1 is congruent to angle 3. And why is that true? Because angle 1 is congruent to 2 and 3 is congruent to 2, which means 1 and 3 are congruent to each other. And that means that they all have the same measure. So in some problems, you may only be given the measure of angle 1 and you're told that it's congruent to angle 2, then you know that the measure of angle 2 is going to be whatever the angle is of angle 1, the measure is of angle 1, and so on. And so you need to understand that if you're given angles and you're told that they have the same measure or they're congruent, and two different angles are congruent or equal to the same angle, in this case being angle 2, then that means that these two different angles are congruent to each other. And if they're congruent to the same angle, they're congruent to each other. So this property is very useful when you're asked to solve some geometry proofs. I'm going to post a video working with some geometry proofs, and it's going to use this transitive property. So stay tuned for that video. Another property I want to share with you is the substitution property. Some of you may have already had this in some of your other math classes, and so it'll be easier for you to catch on when it comes to angles because it's the same process. But for those of you who haven't had it, I want to try to explain it in as simple way as possible to help you catch on to it, because it's a very important tool in helping you solve your geometry proofs. So if you're given that A equals B, then A can be used in the equation that you're given in place of B, and vice versa, to help you solve an equation or solve a proof. And I'm going to work an example for you in just a minute. With angles, if M is the measurement of angle 1 is equal to the measurement of angle 2, then the measurement of angle 2 can replace the measurement of angle 1 in an equation, and vice versa. So let's do an example. What if we're told that the measurement of angle 1 plus the measurement of angle 2 equals 180 degrees, and they tell us that the measurement of angle 2 is unknown, but they tell us that the measurement of angle 1 equals the measurement of angle 3. And they don't tell us what measurement of angle 1 is, but they tell us what the measurement of angle 3 is. Well, just use substitution and replace the measurement of angle 1 in your equation with the measurement of angle 3. So you'll get the measurement of angle 3 plus the measurement of angle 2 equals 180 degrees. And when you solve it, now you can find out what the measurement of angle 2 is. It's hopefully going to be easy. Let me work through this example for you, another example for you, and hopefully any confusion will be cleared up. If not, email me and ask me to explain it and go slower or break it down more. Whatever you need to do to catch on, I'm willing to help you out. Here's an example of the substitution property when you're working with angles. What if you're given this problem? You're told to find the measure of angle 2 if you're given the following equation and facts: that the measurement of angle 1 plus the measurement of angle 2 equals 180 degrees. And you're told that the measurement of angle 1 equals the measurement of angle 3. And you're told that the measure of angle 3 equals 70 degrees. And you have to find the measure of angle 2. When it comes to substitution property, we're going to take our original equation, the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 equals 180. And we are going to use substitution. We're going to take the M, or the measure of angle 3, and replace that, or substitute that in where the measurement of angle 1 was. So we're going to, this measure of angle 1, we're going to replace it with the measure of angle 3 below. And we're going to go ahead and add it to that equation. The rest of the equation stays the same. So we have the measure of angle 3 plus the measure of angle 2 equals 180 degrees. And then we just do the math. We know the measurement of angle 3 is 70, so that becomes part of 70 degrees. That becomes part of the equation. Plus the measure of angle 2, which is our unknown, equals 180 degrees. And just like we do in any other class where we're trying to solve for an unknown, we have to get the unknown all by itself on one side of the equation. So in this case, I'm going to subtract the 70 from both sides, and I get 180 minus 70 on this side and the measure of angle 2 on the left side. And when I solve it, that gives me the answer, measurement of angle 2 equals 110 degrees. And you have solved the problem that you were given. And that's all it is to the substitution property and the transitive property. I hope this helps you in your math class. Give me a shout if it doesn't. Let me know if it helps, or if I need to break it down and talk slower, make it easier, whatever you need. I'm willing to help you. I want you to do well in your 7th and 8th grade math classes, okay? That's it for now. This is Grandma T. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.